If you went to Bleeding Cool and CBR and some of these other comic book sites, you could just, I think, make a YouTube channel just reading some of their stories. They're so out there. I believe this guy in the background is Rich Johnston. Yeah, he has an English accent, so it's Rich. Fascinating character, but not that fascinating. Anyway, this article is by Mr. Johnston. Former Marvel Comics figures in Jeffrey Epstein's Little Black Book. Hedge fund manager Jeffrey Epstein has appeared in a New York court charged with running a vast network of underage girls for sex. Prosecutors allege that he sexually exploited and abused dozens of minor girls, some as young as 14, and paid them hundreds of dollars for sex acts. Arrested on Saturday, he faces one count of sex trafficking and one of sex trafficking conspiracy, according to the criminal indictment unsealed yesterday. Epstein has pleaded not guilty to these charges and remains incarcerated until his bail hearing, yada yada. His arrest on these charges, let's take a look at him. He looks like that other actor. Reminds me of, what's his name, Ronald Perelman. His arrest on these charges was also thrown new light on his Black Book of Contacts, published in a redacted form by Gawker in 2015. So Gawker was able to do something good before they went after Hulk Hogan. While there has been widespread speculations on various names in the book, and Gawker also was talking about the continent, the girl in the back of the car, the continent of Hawaii, because he had some kind of Hulu girl on his dashboard or something, and she had the how do I do her voice? She had that vocal fry and the inflection at the end, where you end every sentence like this. You're gonna go on Gawker? That drives me insane. While there has been widespread speculation on various names in the book in recent years as to whether particular individuals might be complicit in or a witness to any crimes connected to this matter, it's very important to note that inclusion in the Black Book certainly does not necessarily mean or imply these things for any particular individual. Fair enough. People's Black Books contain all kinds of things. Names of enemies as well as friends. The book clearly contains a variety of routine business and service company contacts, for example, and it has been reported that it contains the names, contact info of victims, which has been removed from the publicly released version. Epstein's former butler, Rodriguez, tried to sell the book for $50,000. I wonder if he knew exactly what he had when he tried to sell that, along with some notes. Oh, okay, I guess he did know. As to his knowledge of particular individuals listed, the book includes the likes of Trump, Courtney Love from Hull, and former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak, with Rodriguez describing it as the Holy Grail. Wow. Regarding Epstein's alleged child sex network. Miami Herald has noted two people who could be charged or named as cooperating witnesses. British socialite Ghislaine Maxwell, accused of working as Epstein's madam, and Jean-Luc Brunel, partner with Epstein in an international modeling company. Ghislaine is also the daughter of Robert Maxwell, the late media magnate, owner of Fleetway and publisher of 2000 AD and Judge Dredd magazine during the late 80s and early 90s. But are there any other comic book connected people in the Black Book list who may be more familiar to Bleeding Cool readers, whatever their connections to Epstein? A couple, yes. First is Eric Ellen Bogan, President and Chief Executive Officer of Marvel Enterprises from 1998 to 1999. Well, that's not a very long tenure. His altercations with Marvel Chairman Ike Perlmutter are alleged to have gotten very physical indeed in the office. Why does that make me think of... I don't think of them fighting so much. I think of them making sweet, sweet love. Is that what you're alleging? Somehow I doubt it. After Marvel, together with John Engelman in 2000, Ellen Bogan launched Classic Media. When in 2012, DreamWorks Animation bought Classic Media and renamed it DreamWorks Classics. This led to Ellen Bogan eventually becoming the head of DreamWorks Animation's television division. Earlier this year, he became senior advisor to DHX Media. There's also former Marvel Entertainment Group owner Ronald Perelman, which is no surprise given Perelman's financial dealings. Chairman of Marvel from 89 to 96, after his company bought Marvel from New World for $82 million, he called it a mini Disney. That's creepy. And took the company public in 91, selling 40% of the stock and making $40 million for his company in the process. The rest being invested into the publisher, buying Panini Heroes World Division, Skybox International, Fleer, and Toy Biz, which brought in Ari Arad and Ike Perlmutter, and setting up the Marvel Films division before Perlman directed the release of $500 million in bonds. The collapse of the comics speculator market that Marvel had fostered, the failure of Hero World's distribution, the effect on Fleer of the 1994 Major League Baseball strike. Remember that, kids? And Panini poor performance led to Marvel firing 275 employees, a full merger with Toy Biz, using shares Perlman owned individually, issuing more shares to fund the setting up of Marvel Studios. And in December 96, with all these financial pressures, Marvel filed for bankruptcy. Perlman was replaced on the board by new investor Carl Icahn, who blocked Perlman's plans. A decade later, Perlman paid $80 million to settle a lawsuit accusing him of helping divert over $500 million when he controlled the company. I guess you got out cheap for $80 million then. The Chris Evans named in the book is not the actor Chris Evans behind Captain America or the Human Torch. UK phone number is present. More likely to be British radio DJ Chris Evans, who was invested in startup a number of prominent media companies, who married Billie Piper. Probably not that Peter Sue either, as well as names as Paul Allen, Naomi Campbell, Minnie Driver. Minnie Driver is 50 now. So if we're talking like 30, 35 years ago when these people would have been interested in her. Alec Baldwin, Mike Bloomberg, Cheryl Mills, White House counsel under Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton's chief of staff, Edgar Bronfman, Candace Bushnell, creator of Sex and the City and model for Carrie Bradshaw. Oh, and Kevin Spacey and Bob Weinstein. So there you go. How many of them may be invited to give testimony? Interesting. Speaking of the Clintons, when I first heard of the Pizzagate thing, I assumed it was just Alex Jones, tinfoil hat type of things. I thought it was people who were just so angry. Like, I thought, you know how people have Trump derangement syndrome now? Well, some people I assumed had Obama derangement syndrome, and I think they were just so angry at Obama being an idiot that they were kind of reaching. And then I read the Pizzagate emails, and they're talking about something, some kind of contraband. They're clearly not talking about pizza, and they're either talking about, the only two things of contraband they could be talking about are some kind of drugs, or they're talking about kids. And if you look at the emails these Pizzagate people exchange, it doesn't seem like they're talking about drugs. It's just, you just don't talk about drugs in the way that they're talking about drugs. And you don't, the way they talked about it, it's like you don't fascinate about drugs that way. You just feel, it doesn't even matter what kind of weird drugs you're talking about. I'm assuming, beyond marijuana, it's just, drugs aren't that special. You go to the dealer and you buy what you want. And I'll have a couple of joints and a couple of whatevers. It's kind of clear that they're talking about kids, allegedly. You don't talk about pizza that way. Anyway, you can Google the Pizzagate emails. It's and it's funny because the media defended these people, and they immediately called anyone who kind of believed in Pizzagate as all right, and Alex Jones and all right. And they just keep repeating those words because they want to associate. When you look at Pizzagate, they want to associate Alex Jones and all right with Pizzagate. It's there's a word for it. It's a media manipulation thing they do. So they try to discredit it by kind of poisoning the well, I guess. But if you actually read the emails yourself, they're talking about something, and it's, I think they're talking about kids. And so, but now also when I read these emails and I hear about these people who are into hurting kids, in the back of my mind I'm thinking, well, there can't really be that many of these people out there who are P to the E to the D to the O's, are there? But it actually turns out that there are some of these people out there. Anyway, there's only 2 comments on it. 3 comments. This is Bleeding Cool. Rich Johnston covering this issue. So check it out on Bleeding Cool. It's make sure your ad blocker is on, because it's kind of a junk website. Anyway, like and comment and subscribe if you're not already subscribed.